So UFC 315 takes place tonight and it is headlined by Bal Muhammad versus JDM for the welterweight title. And today we're going to be breaking down the card in different categories. So the categories we have got are my most anticipated fight, a fight with a guaranteed finish, my lock of the card, my underdog pick of the card, and for UFC 315 we have got a prospect to watch on the card. So yeah, UFC 315, I think it starts at the main card starts at 3 a.m. UK time, if I remember correctly. I am going to be live for the card doing a watch along here on YouTube and on TikTok. So make sure if you are watching the UFC 315 card, you do tune in to the watch along. And we'll just see what happens on the card. I mean, it was pretty ass. There's been a lot of fights falling off at Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Joel Alvarez. But ever since knowing that the UFC 317 main event is on the line here, and we might actually get Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, it's made this main event that much more interesting, in my opinion. But let's get right into the video, starting off with my most anticipated fight. Look, it's kind of a boring answer here. It is Bal Muhammad versus JDM. Originally, it was Benoit Saint-Denis versus Joel Alvarez. I thought that fight was going to be an absolute war. I was really looking forward to that one. I actually thought Benoit Saint-Denis had a good chance against Joel Alvarez. Now, I wasn't picking Benoit Saint-Denis to win it, but I wouldn't have been surprised or shocked if he was able to beat Joel Alvarez. There's just something about Benoit Saint-Denis and his game that I thought he could have caused Joel Alvarez problems in there, but Joel Alvarez has pulled out with an injury and has said that he is now going to be moving up to the welterweight division. Joel Alvarez was massive for the UFC's lightweight division. I think the highest he got in terms of the rankings was 15. He was coming off a really nice KO win over Drakkar Klose. I can't remember, was it a KO or a submission? It was he hit him that flying knee. It was a weird kind of finish. It was on the Colby Covington, Joaquin Buckley card. But yeah, Benoit Saint-Denis obviously on a 2-fight losing streak. Him versus Joel Alvarez, I just thought that would have been all-out action. But this right here is also a great matchup. Like I said at the start of the video, there is a lot on the line now in JDM versus Bal Muhammad. You've got the possibility of, if Bal Muhammad wins, we see Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, which is the match that I need. And then if JDM is able to beat Bal Muhammad, we will see Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira at UFC 317. So there's a lot on the line here. Not only the welterweight title, but the main event of International Fight Week and my dream MMA matchup. So I kind of feel like we're all going to have to manifest and get behind Bal Muhammad for this matchup. But even just stylistically, I know Bal Muhammad isn't the most fun fighter to watch, but I think JDM is extremely fun and will draw out a really fun matchup with Bal Muhammad. Even in the grappling exchanges with all the scrambling that JDM does and stuff like that, and JDM's combinations on the feet and just seeing him beat up Bal Muhammad. Really what makes this my most anticipated matchup is just maybe seeing Bal Muhammad get the shit kicked out of him. That's kind of it. And the fact of the UFC 317 main event. But when you also look at the rest of the card, there really isn't much on it, if we're being honest. UFC 315 isn't great, especially coming off UFC 314, which I think will probably be the best card of the year in terms of stacked top to bottom. Yeah. But this is my most anticipated fight. Moving on to the fight with a guaranteed finish. This is obvious. It's Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Propell. Kyle Propell has been in the UFC before. I believe he went 0-2 and then was released. Look, Benoit Saint-Denis is levels above Kyle Propell, in my opinion. He's been training for a much higher level opposition in Joel Alvarez. Now, maybe the short notice replacement might fuck him up a bit, and obviously confidence will be low for Benoit Saint-Denis because he got absolutely manhandled by Manny Moicano. Yeah, I know he kind of won the second round, but that first round against Manny Moicano, the beating that he took in there, honestly, that was just ridiculous. That was a 10-7 round. Benoit Saint-Denis got smoked in that matchup against Moicano, and then in the fight before that, he obviously got stopped by Dustin Poirier, and you know what, this is a controversial take, hot take incoming. I think that if Benoit Saint-Denis didn't have staph infection going into that Dustin Poirier matchup, I actually think he might have beat Poirier. I'm going to be honest, because he was taking down Poirier at will. Poirier was jumping fucking guillotines for no reason. I did pick Dustin Poirier as the underdog to win though. I must specify that. You can go back on the channel and check. I did say Dustin Poirier would beat Benoit Saint-Denis. But if Benoit St. Denis didn't have the staph infection, he was winning. But confidence is low for him going into this matchup. Cal Propell, obviously, this is a big moment for him in his home country, back in the UFC. He's really got nothing to lose, if we're being honest anyway. There's no way they've just signed him to a one-fight deal either, so he will be making a return to the UFC. But Benoit St. Denis is vicious. I think he beats Cal Propell everywhere, whether that be on the feet, whether that be in the grappling. I think Benoit St. Denis will have his way with him. And Benoit St. Denis, all his wins in the UFC have all came by way of finish. This guy's not looking to go 3 rounds with you. He is looking to get in there because he is a marauder. He's looking to get in there, walk you down. The body kicks, I think, are going to be a big problem for Cal Propell in there at UFC 315. I either see just a Cal Propell covering up against the cage, a TKO, or Benoit St. Denis just wheeling on him, shoots him for a takedown, gets him down, gets his back. Either way, Benoit St. Denis is definitely getting a finish on this card. Moving on to my lock of the card. It's pretty shitty. It's kind of the biggest favourite on the card, and I didn't just pick this because he's the biggest favourite. I just feel like he's guaranteed to win against Ivan Ursin, Navajo Sterling. I think, yes, he is 6-0. He's not that experienced. He's a good striker, coming out of a good gym. I don't think Ivan's that really good, to be honest, anyway. I think he's going to struggle on the feet with Sterling. Now, a lot of people are picking Sterling to win by stoppage. I still think I am picking him to win by stoppage, but Ivan, he is hard to stop. This guy's only been stopped once by TKO throughout his career, and I think he's had close to 20 professional MMA fights, so the guy is tough and durable. But yeah, coming out of City Kickboxing, he's got a good kickboxing background. I think he is going to win. He's got a bit of power. Obviously, he didn't get a finish in his last fight. If I remember correctly, he went to a decision. But either way, if he doesn't get the KO, he is going to be able to win on the feet against Ivan Ursin. I don't think he's going to be able to out-grapple Navajo Sterling. Like I said, coming out of good gym, City Kickboxing, those guys are great strikers, and they've got really good takedown defense as well. So I think this is the lock of the card. But like I said, in terms of a betting perspective, maybe you want to chuck him in on a parlay, but he's minus 300 something, so there isn't really much value on playing the money line for Sterling. Moving on to where you are going to make money. This is my underdog pick of the card. It is Valentina Shevchenko. If I remember correctly, she is a plus 125 favourite against Manon Fiorot, which I think is crazy. Valentina Shevchenko, a legend of women's MMA, a legend of MMA in general, if we're being honest. A lot of great wins on her resume. Yes, Manon Fiorot, I think they're the same age. Manon Fiorot has been in there with some decent level competition, but Valentina Shevchenko is just better everywhere in my opinion, and she's more proven in these championship fights. We know she can go 5 rounds no problem. We know she can offer up the takedown threat. We know that she has got good grappling. She can control her opponents well. Yes, it might be boring. In fact, I can guarantee you this fight will be boring. But she is my underdog pick of the card. Valentina Shevchenko, multiple title defenses under her belt in the UFC, has been in there with really high level opposition and has beaten them. Coming off a big win at UFC 306 against Alexia Grasso, another high level female mixed martial artist. Valentina Shevchenko as an underdog, easy money, man, easy money. Right, I'm moving on to my prospect to watch on the card. It is Beksat. Let me just get his name right. I can't say his second name. Yeah, Beksat Almakhan. I was about to call him Azmat Mirzakhanov. He's a fucking light heavyweight. But yeah, Beksat Almakhan. This guy has a professional MMA record of 11-2. Before coming into the UFC, Beksat had a 9-fight win streak going. 7 of those wins were finishes, and he's fought in pretty decent organisations like Octagon and UAE Warriors. So it's not as if he's just been fighting on these stupid, shitty regional shows that nobody's heard of that don't get good competition. He's been in there on these big shows against good level opposition, and obviously everyone will remember this guy as the guy who stepped in on short notice and dropped Umar Nurmagomedov way back in March. Since then he hasn't fought since, so he's essentially taken it over a year off. He is still young at 27 years of age, I believe. He's got power in his hands. He's got good grappling. He's going in there against Brad Katona. I think he's really good. Now, I do think a lot of people... Do I think he's going to be champion? I'm unsure. I need to see more of him. But a lot of people are putting stock in this guy because he did drop Umar. But let's not forget, he dropped Umar and then got dominated. But again, it just showed his punch power in there to be able to drop Umar Nurmagomedov. Shows how dangerous he is in the matchup. I think Beksat Almacan, I think he has a fringe top 15 from what I've already just seen of him in his regional fights. UFC bantamweight. I'm looking forward to seeing him in there against Brad Katona. I think he beats him. I think he stops him. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Make sure you tune in for the watch along. Thanks for the support, and as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. 1K is on the way, and I'll see you all again in the next one.